Hi, in this video I'll be doing an unboxing, setup guide and a brief review of the Proaim Astra camera jib. This is the 4-foot model. It came in a box and this is the carry case. To give you an idea of the dimensions in the carry bag, you're looking at about 134 centimeters. In the bag you get the unit which is wrapped up. I'm going to unwrap it shortly. Right, in the carry bag there's some items here. I'm going to unwrap them. Right, in the package you will get this. This is the LCD mounting bracket. So you can mount this on the side like that, and then you can put your LCD screen if you wish. You must put the screw side like that, and then the washer and the knob goes in the inside. Right, so there you can see the knob is on the inside. And the reason for that is your monitor is going to go over here, and you don't want the knob to be in the way of the monitor. Now it comes with an Allen key, so you can just hold the knob and tighten this. And it's got plastic washers, so it can move like that. So you could have your monitor like that, you could use something like that. And if you have a look at the bracket, you will see that there are additional holes there, and here is a mounting screw. Now this is the camera mounting platform, and if you have a look, you can see it's got a lot of punched holes here. And then here is the plate which you will mount your camera as well. So there you can see it's already got screws, and this can be mounted onto this platform. Right, so the process is to unscrew these screws here. There are 4 of them with the washer. Then you're going to put the plate on like that, and you're going to feed the screw from the back. And because the plate has the threads already in place, you'll just thread the screw into the top plate. As you can see, it is now fastening. Right, you can use the tool that they supplied. Right, now just a notice, you don't have to use this plate. You could attach your camera already to this platform, but the manual does suggest you should rather use this plate. Now, according to the manual, you could actually attach your head onto this plate. In this particular case, this has got the cradle type head and it doesn't fit. But just to show you an example, you would have your head like this, or you could go directly and seat your camera right here and then just use a screw through these holes. And they do provide a screw. Now you can attach your QR plate, for example, one like this. Right, at the back you can mount your counterweight. This is your counterweight attachment, so you screw this in like that. Right, then you will need to put your weights. As you can see, just a note about the diameter of this pole, you can see that some weights have a wider diameter and some have a narrower diameter. This has got a wider diameter. Obviously that fits, but it has got a bit of space there. So for your reference, this is 24 millimeters. At the back, if you didn't want to use the weights, you could attach maybe a bean bag or something to here. You can see there's a space here to hook something. I was planning on using a speaker stand for this jib, but the problem is the internal dimensions of the hole here is too small for this pole over here. So if I just show you what size you're looking at, measuring the internal diameter is 33 millimeters, while a regular pole for a speaker is 34,89, so call it 34,9. So these are incompatible, so you'll need to specify the pole for this jib. And then once you insert your pole here, you've got these two to tighten it onto the pole. Right, I've set up the unit, and then you'll just fasten these 2 attachment knobs here. There is a spirit level there just telling you the level of the jib. Now if you have a look here, this is where your monitor would go. Right, this is a 5.5-inch monitor and it fits perfectly here. However, on this particular monitor, the HDMI is on the side. So you can see that it is a bit snug there, and you might need to come up with a different setup for your monitor. This is a 7-inch monitor and it also fits perfectly well here. And just to give you an idea of the dimensions of this monitor, this is a 19 centimeter monitor. But in this particular case, it wouldn't work because the HDMI has to go at the bottom here. So the HDMI is going at the bottom there, which just means that I'd have to have the monitor at a slight angle. What you could do is you could also use a magic arm, and obviously this is a useful place to put your bracket, or you could use these type of brackets. Right, I've removed the bracket here, and on the side you'll see there are 2 screw holes. You can use a magic arm directly onto the frame of the jib. Right, so there you see the magic arm without any of that cable problem anymore. Right, so here's my camera. It is in a small rig. Now you could put your screw and connect it directly to your camera, or you could put it through your rig. Now in my case, I'm going to just put it through my rig. Right, so this is the most basic setup, and all I'm going to do is just counterbalance it now. So what I recommend you do is you loosen this knob till it's loose. Now you see it's loose. Now I'll just work out how many kilograms I need to have on the counterbalance side. I've started with 2 kilograms, and as you can see, it's still too little. Now I've gone to 3 kilograms, and 3 kilograms is about right. Right, so there you can see the travel. If you're interested in how much travel you're going to get, I'll just show you. Right, you'll get about 1.1 meters of upward travel. Right, this is what the mechanism looks like when it moves. One of the challenges you might run into is this weight. So it's important to deal with this weight, because as the jib goes from the upward position to the downward position, the weight goes from leaning that way to leaning that way, and this is what happens. Makes a bit of a knock. So you'll need to fasten this weight down, or put something there, or get a weight that is very close to the diameter of this pole. Right, so there you can see the camera on the plate. If you want to use the QR plate. Right, so using the quick release plate. Right, so in this case, you can see I've used the quick release plate. Now in my case, I want my camera to face down. So I've made my own little bracket here. All I did is I took some flat bar and bent it. And then I've drilled 2 screws here. And on this side, I can now put my QR plate. Right, so you can see I've changed this from a horizontal view to a vertical view. Here's my QR plate, and I've screwed it in over there. If you are going to be using it in this orientation, I highly recommend you use 2 screws here so that you don't get a bit of an angle creeping in there. Right, my floor is not 100% horizontal, but what I'm interested in is that line must match this line over here. And it's fairly close. Right, to make some minor changes, I just add a washer there or there, depending if I want to go up or down, or I just bend this plate. But for the most part, this is close to vertical. Right, so here you can see I got this vertical view. I can pull this down, I can pull this up, I can move it to the side as I view my work. What I'd highly recommend is get a stable stand. As you can see, there's a bit of wobble here, and that isn't because of the Astra. This is because of the poor stand I'm using. So this stand here is introducing some free play here. So my advice is get something with very fine tolerances and with a bearing here to turn it. There's no noise and there's no free play. Any free play is actually coming from my stand. Right, so there you can see a setup. I have this at an angle, and there my camera is vertically above my desk. So I've got a magic arm with a monitor, I've got the camera, and there's a light attached to my camera, all stable. So what I like about the setup is I can be here while the jib is at an angle, and that's because of the bracket which I made. The distance from the stand to my camera is 90 centimeters, but the distance to here is 75. So you could take it as about 75 unless you add additional head or bracket. If I want to get closer to my page, it's not a problem. This wobble here is from the stand, it's not from the jib. Right, some additional points worth noting. If you by mistake have the weight on too high and you let it go, all that's going to happen is that. It's not like it's going to fall over, and it's got a manual stop, so it will stop at that height. Right, in closing, what do I think of the jib? Well, I just want to mention that this is a solid piece of equipment. If I just show you some of the dimensions of the metal, that's 7 millimeters. That would be 4 millimeters for that. So this frame is 4 millimeter thick. This platform here is 6 millimeter thick. Is about 3.2 millimeters thick. If you have a look at this bushing here, well, this isn't a bearing, and obviously a bearing would be first prize. This is solid. There's no space for wobble here. You can see the washer system there, and what you can do is you can remove these 2 Allen keys and affix this jib onto a camera tripod. So that would mean this comes off, you just left with this flat piece, and if you've got a tripod head that is this size, you could seat it onto here. Unfortunately, mine doesn't fit, and on my other tripod stand it doesn't fit. So I would have to make a bracket to seat that onto this more stable stand. So overall, I'm happy with the product. In terms of indoor use, it's great because it's not too big, especially if you're in a small area. But for outdoor use, the effect of that up and down motion would be better if you have a longer arm.